Hello, Marks. It's showtime. Lyssie and Dylan here talking about wrestling. That's why this podcast is called Talkin Wrasslin. We're going to talk about wrestling and Sting a lot today in this episode. Maybe getting some sort of debate. I don't know who the host is. I'm the host this week, but that doesn't matter. Let's talk wrestling! Hello, Marks. Welcome back to Talkin Wrasslin. On today's episode, we got some wrestling news. We're also going to talk a little bit about Dynamite, one thing from SmackDown that took 40 fucking minutes, and Revolution, the AEW pay-per-view that happened last night. Well,
Sunday.
Two nights ago. As you're going to be hearing this, we're recording it on a Monday. Fucked up our whole schedule. But anyway, Lyssie, how you doing?
I'm fine.
You're fine?
Yes, I'm fine.
How's your week been?
Week's been alright. Just kind of coasting, really. Nothing too crazy going on. I was supposed to be getting my back tattooed today. I'm doing a big old back piece, but my tattoo artist / boss is sick. So I think what had happened, right? I'm gonna make fun of him for a little bit.
Oh boy.
Sometimes he watches. Bruce, if you're watching, I'm making fun of you. It was Saturday. He came into work and he was like, I'm not feeling great. And we're like, oh God, please stay away from us. But apparently what had happened was we all got Girl Scout cookies and he made a bowl of Thin Mint cereal. Okay. So we just put a bunch of Thin Mints in a bowl, some milk, and went to fucking town, which inherently there's no problem in doing. However,
I made donut soup that one time, remember?
Yeah, however, Bruce isn't supposed to be drinking milk. So he definitely fucked himself up for the next couple of days. So he texted me yesterday, was like, hey, I'm not good. And I'm like, that's okay. Please stay home. Please feel better. It'll be okay. We'll get this tattoo done eventually. But that's honestly the most exciting thing I think has happened all week in my own personal life. I don't think, to my knowledge, anything else really has been going on, aside from my car maybe being broken again, but that's neither here nor there.
Car things are always fun.
Yeah, still don't know what's going on with it. Should probably get it checked out, but, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
How about you, Dylan? How's your week been?
It was pretty good. A lot of running around. I haven't gotten a chance to, breathe for, the past couple of days. I don't want to talk much about it. We'll talk much about it once other things fall into place. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Everything.
Planning some stuff.
Yeah, planting seeds of stuff and everything. So if you follow me on social media and stuff, you probably know what I'm talking about. But we're not going to promote it yet because we're going to wait until pieces fall into place and everything. But it's going to be a very exciting thing.
Also, real quick before we get into it, because I feel like we've been trying to keep up this tradition of stuff we've bought throughout the week.
Yes, I bought a shitload of stuff. You
bought a shitload of stuff. I mainly wanted to touch on, which hopefully will be shipping out soon. I did get a message from your person. We got Ring of Honor, Samoa Joe versus Punk
versus Joe 2.
We got a DVD for that, and they messaged me saying, hey, appreciate the buy, the purchase. We'll be shipping out soon, so that's cool. And then I found the Elite foam finger with the 3 fingers that shows the Elite, symbol and whatnot. I found that and I bought that. It has an update and I didn't get a message yet, so I messaged the seller and was like, hey, I'm just really fucking excited about this. When the fuck are you set? But I said it nicely because I'm a nice person. So I literally bought it 2 days ago and I'm like, hey, when are you shipping it? But since they didn't send a message, I know sometimes notifications get funky from personal experience selling online. So I was like, oh, just reach out and send a message. Maybe they missed a notification or something. So hopefully that'll be arriving in my possession very soon because I'm very excited about that.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
That sounds
You do not give 2 shits about it.
No.
And I'm over here overly hyped about it.
I'm just okay, you got a foam finger?
Yeah, cool. Dude, because, first of all, okay, I love niche shit. And this is kind of niche. And I collect Elite stuff. So it's perfect, and I missed out on it when AEW first started. So I'm excited.
I'll be getting 2K24 tomorrow. GameStop called me.
Yeah, see, I don't care about that.
And I'll be getting... But you can ride the elevators tomorrow.
I can ride the elevators as Post Malone.
Yes.
That's all I want to do.
You can ride the elevators as Post Malone. But anyway, before we jump into this, I just want to say rest in peace to Virgil and Ole Anderson. Mm-hmm. Two great men. Gone too soon.
Yeah.
So we just want to put our...
condolences.
Condolences. There's the word out there. And then one more thing before we get into wrestling news. We recently watched the A&E documentary of Randy Orton.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think about it? What do you think about his life and him and all of that?
I thought it was pretty good. There was some stuff in there that, like, I feel like it was weird watching it because parts of it I feel like I already had watched, if that makes sense. Like,
you probably saw like stuff. We watched a documentary like during COVID. It was like a legend. It was like a Randy Orton documentary that the network had.
Yeah.
So you probably saw like some stuff.
I remember like when he was talking about OVW with Batista at the door and whatnot, I was like, yeah. I remember hearing about this already. So I was like, is this new? Did we watch this? Like, I don't really know what's going on. But no, overall it was really good. There was some stuff in there that I didn't know had happened to him. I don't know if you're going to talk too much about it. I don't really want to, just in the retrospective, like if people do want to watch it, I don't want to spoil anything. But there was some stuff in there I didn't know about and I was kind of taken aback by, but it was really good. And by the end of it, I was very sad because I was like, fuck, he's done soon.
Yeah.
He's done soon.
Randy's going to be done soon.
So that sucks. But yeah, great documentary. I liked it.
I don't know what the next one is on. But I know I think they're taking like a couple week break, and then they'll be back. But Dark Side of the Ring will be airing technically tonight when you're hearing this.
Yeah, Tuesday.
I think it's the Earthquake episode, so that'll be cool. So new season starting and everything. But let's get into the wrestling news.
All right, Dom, what you got?
Let's talk about Shawn Spears showing up in NXT. The chairman, Shawn Spears, not Ty Dillinger, not the Perfect 10. Shawn Spears, the chairman.
I like that wrestlers are going to keep their names now.
He's an NXT.
Like, do you know how cool that is? That, like, they went off and went somewhere else and either used prior names or new names or whatever, and they're just getting to keep that name.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. Because I remember when Jade was first going to WWE, there was rumors or reports or whatever that they were going to change her name. And there was a name out there. I don't remember what it was, but there was a name out there that she was going to be taking. And I was like, that's kind of stupid because she was never anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, she was wrestling for like 3 years. She was in AEW. Like, why change her name? That makes zero fucking sense to me. Just keep her as people know her as.
And I understand why they did it with Brian Pillman Jr. changing it to Lexus King because that was his choice.
Yeah, that wasn't.
He didn't want to be just remembered as a junior. Like, he's been remembered as a junior his whole life. So
it's okay. I'll reiterate my point in a different way. It is different if somebody wants to change their name. But being told like, oh, you have to go back to your prior WWE name, or you have to choose a different name now because new place, new person type of thing, like, that's fucking stupid. Like, if they want to keep their old name, they should be able to.
That makes me wonder, like, if like FTR was to come back to WWE, would they be FTR or would they be The Revival? Would they be Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, or would they be Scott Dawson and what the fuck? I see The Revival kind of just went right out of my head.
Wasn't it like Dash or something?
Dash Wheeler and like Scott Dawson.
That's so stupid.
Max and Jeremy Buck, Generation Me.
I still don't understand why Nick chose the name Jeremy, or why they gave Nick the name Jeremy. Like, Max is close to Matt.
Or like, would Malachi Black go back to Alistair, or keep Malachi?
I mean, Alistair and Malachi are both cool names.
Yeah.
So honestly, that one I really couldn't care less because you sound like a badass either way.
Who else has like showed up and had like? I mean, there like LA Knight was known as Eli Drake before.
Tyler Black
is Seth Rollins. Kevin Owens was Kevin Steen.
Sami Zayn.
No, that was different.
No, I've heard reports that Sami Zayn might be El Generico.
No, he's not. El Generico's taking care of orphans. No.
I'm just saying, I've heard speculation on the internet. Everything that's on the internet has to be true.
Okay, so when Sami Zayn's standing in the middle of the ring one day in a Royal Rumble and El Generico comes out, all of you will be fooled.
Dude, I will shit my pants if they ever do that.
I'd be really confused.
I would shit my
I'm not
fucking
gonna.
pants.
I'd be really confused. But anyway, let's get into controversial hell froze over things because I agree with Dave Meltzer on something. Let's see.
Oh yeah, we're talking about this. Okay.
We can't boo people or tell wrestlers they suck.
Even when it's their gimmick.
When it's their gimmick. Lissy, we can't boo the wrestlers. People get offended.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'll rope
I got
back,
screenshots, but go ahead.
I'll rope back around to a point that we brought up in a prior episode about that poor girl from Chicago that got like a shit ton of internet hate because she flipped off Hangman.
She was at the show last night. I saw like it was one, I think it was the tag match. They were like walking through the crowd and they walked right past her. I was like, "Oh, hey, there's that girl that got her like that started a whole Twitter discourse."
I think she was like two seats over from Christine. Which is wild to me. I never actually asked her about that if she knows her or not because they're both from the same like area.
I think they do.
They might be friends.
And I don't know because I see in like Twitter discourse going around on like the orange haired girl Twitter of like people talking about Christine and being like, "Do you know this person?" And like her being like, "Yes, but eh."
I mean, that's mean.
It's Punk and Young Bucks.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get along with each other. Come on, Christine's nice. Christine's
I can't speak on anyone. I can't speak on it because I don't know the people at all.
Well, no, I mean that's fair.
But I'm just going by what I've seen on Twitter because
I'm gonna say that they're keeping kayfabe.
They'll both pop up on my Twitter like once in a while, and like I'll just like see the shit and I'll be like, things. Weird.
I'm gonna say that they're keeping kayfabe on Twitter and they're actually besties, just like how the Young Bucks and CM Punk are besties.
But anyway, to catch up people on this. So anyway, there was a whole thing at a house show, a WWE house show, where Maxine Dupree, she is a new wrestler. She's new at doing this. So she's greener than ghost shit. And people were booing her when she was walking out of her match. But that's the problem. You can't boo these fucking people anymore. You're not allowed to fucking boo them. It started a whole fucking thing about, oh, how dare you boo her? She's just trying to learn everything. Yeah, we're booing her because that's the whole thing. Maxine Dupree's gimmick is literally, like, I hate to put it this way, but it's kind of the best way I can put it. 2008 Divas Wrestler.
Her whole gimmick is learning how to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
That's what
she's
it is.
part of the Alpha Academy. Chad Gable and Otis are teaching her.
Yeah, that's like that's her whole thing. And like, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just silly and it's stupid that okay, not to sound like this person, but if the roles were reversed and it was like a guy wrestling who maybe was doing the same gimmick, like let's say it was a himbo. Right, it was a himbo or something.
Oh, God.
And he was learning how to wrestle for the first time, and it was, like, on screen. It was clearly his gimmick and whatnot, and people were booing him. Like, it wouldn't have ever been, like, a discourse type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people wouldn't have ever said anything about it.
Bro, they were literally chanting last night at Revolution, "Fuck the Young Bucks." Mm-hmm. How dare those fans chant that? How dare?
I personally was offended for Nicholas and Matthew Jackson on their behalf. I was upset on their behalf for them, so they don't have to worry about being upset.
Anyway, I'm going to read a quote from Dave Meltzer that I agree with. I agree with Dave Meltzer, the same guy that I've called an idiot numerous times. He still is. This is from Dave Meltzer on this whole subject matter. If you're a wrestler, get mad at the company for putting her in that position. Don't get mad at the fans. If the fans see a bad match, they've got the right to boo. And even if they see a good match, they've got the right to boo. He's not wrong. There's a line, and now I think we're getting way too sensitive. We're not wrong. I'm gonna get ripped on this because it involves women. No, Dave, I actually got your side on this. But that's just my feeling. If you're a pro, Jesus Christ, that's part of being a pro wrestler. If they say something racial, if they say something really, really badly sexist in this day and age at the arena, fucking shut them up. I can't believe he said that. Fucking shut them up. Yell back at them. Tell security. Whatever. You're not wrong. But just booing someone or saying you suck, that doesn't cross the line of behavior the fans shouldn't be doing. Absolutely. Bro, all these fucking... This goes back to... we were talking about, like, ECW. Oh, we were talking about Tony Khan getting hyped at shows. Yeah. And I was like, Paul Heyman and everything. Bro, you've seen ECW shit. They would do the slightest botch. They would make the smallest mistake in an ECW match, and then you would get the you fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up. Like, bro, it's part of wrestling. Like, all these people need to stop being fucking sensitive.
Like, there's, like Dave said, like, there's a difference between, like, okay, this is the first one that kind of sticks out in my mind, because it was a powerful fucking picture that actually went around that I fucking love. But that picture of Jade Cargill flipping off a fan that's holding up a sign that says beer break.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up. Don't fucking do that type of shit. There's a lot of fan behavior that I'm adamantly against, like touching wrestlers when they don't want to be touched or shit like that. Or again, like just having signs that are insensitive, like the one about Nyla Rose and shit.
Well, yeah, that's what Dave's saying. Like, if it comes down to that, like, yeah, fuck them. But like, if you're just booing a wrestler, it's part of the show. Like, bro, Jimmy Rave, God rest his soul, they would throw toilet paper at him as streamers and chant "Die Rave Die."
Yeah.
Like, or fuck. Every time we went to Newburgh, that crowd hated me.
Oh, yeah, when you were doing backyard stuff.
Yeah, when I was doing backyard wrestling, Newburgh, New York, hated me.
Yeah.
They hated me. Or MJF.
At all.
Anything MJF does.
Literally ever.
I'm trying to think of, like, other ones that, just examples of, like, this, like, you guys are just being too sensitive.
Like,
this is part of the show.
I wonder if it falls in line with, like, the one issue that AEW has of, like, people cheering the bad guys type of thing. Like, this might be a stretch of,
that's
like, a correlation.
That's been a thing for years, though.
Well,
that doesn't
No. What I'm saying is, like, so, you know, the fans are cheering the bad guys and this, that, and the other thing, and people are used to, like, if you like a wrestler, even if they're, like, a heel, you're still gonna fucking cheer for them no matter what. So I'm wondering if it kind of goes into the line of, like, someone thinking, like, well, I like this person, and I don't think that you should be booing them just because of this, that, or the other thing. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's I don't know if I'm making any sense as to what I'm saying.
How many times that when we go to wrestling shows, I'm cheering for the heel? I mean,
yeah.
Like, I do it all the time.
No, 100% always. Like,
I do it all the time.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I'm the same fucking way. But, you know, I don't know. To me, it's kind of silly. If it was, like, a legitimate thing, then, like, I do feel bad. Like, if it wasn't, like, a gimmick, if there wasn't this whole gimmick going around it that she's just learning how to be a wrestler and that's her whole shtick, and if, like, people were booing her because she legitimately sucked, like, I would feel kind of bad because it's like, damn, dude, that sucks. Like, you know, you're doing...
But that's the crowd's job.
Yeah, but that's
the whole point.
Like, I don't... I hate to say, like, I don't feel bad, but I don't because it's part of the thing. Like, it's... If I would feel a little bit upset and be like, man, that sucks. I really feel bad for this person. But also, again, that's part of the job. And if you can't deal with that as part of the job, then you're not in the right field of work. You know? Like, it just kind of is what it is.
I'd feed into the boos. If people were booing me because my match sucked, I'd be like, okay.
That's the best thing you can do.
Especially if I'm a heel, you can get away with it. You can get away with lying and be like, yeah, my match sucked because of my opponent.
Yeah.
You can say it like that.
Like, that's the thing is, like, you know, you just gotta play into it and, like, lean in with whatever the crowd fucking gives you. That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Brian Alvarez, Dave's love partner, reports that there's frustrations in the AEW locker room over Tony Khan's booking. And I have a screenshot.
What?
Brian Alvarez reveals backstage frustrations in AEW over Tony Khan's booking. I don't want to compare this to, like, WWE back in the day, but it's very, very much like that. A lot of people are very frustrated because they don't find out the Tuesday before. Some people do. Some people will know what they're doing because there are a couple matches usually advertised in advance. But most people are showing up the day of the show and finding out if they are doing anything or not. There's very little communication. I've been hearing about this for months. People are very frustrated. They show up, here's what you're gonna do. Lots of people will complain and it gets changed, which is also a big problem. I hear about that all the time. People don't want to do something and Tony doesn't make them do it. There's a lot of this. People aren't gonna come forward and talk about it publicly. They will someday, which fuck, I cannot wait for that to happen. This is one of those things where people will say I'm wrong now, and then someday people are going to talk and you'll realize that I'm actually not wrong. And he's not wrong. I hear about this every single day. Trying to put together these shows is just a whirlwind of, will this person do this? They don't want you? What can we do? Will you do it? There's a lot. A lot of frustration. There's also injuries that he deals with, and no, there's not shows put together a week in advance or 2 weeks in advance. The days of long-term booking, they're gone. He has an idea. I'm sure he had a card for the pay-per-view, but as far as week to week, how they get there every week is like, what are we gonna do this week? He wants to do things, but people don't want to get along with it. People are hurt. Whatever.
See,
he's referring to the whole fucking the Meat Madness match that got canceled, and they make it an all-star scramble, and yeah, just the whole fucking.
That's kind of tough because, like, I mean,
I get where he's coming from because I've lived it.
Well, hold on. Let me talk. First of all, if there's no long-term booking, if the days are long gone, then yeah, that's 100% on him, and it's very clear also to the fans that that's kind of been what's going on, because I was also talking to Christine about this the other day, about how it's frustrating that, like, I remember, like, a year ago, we would know what's going on Dynamite, and they'd be announcing essentially the whole card, and now they announce, like, 3 or 4 things, and then it's just kind of up in the air of what the fuck we're actually to be expecting this week, and we have no fucking idea. So yeah, that's on him, but if he has ideas for people, and people are just saying, no, I don't want to do that, and I'm not going to do that, and this, that, and the other thing, then, like, that's a problem with the talent. And yeah, it is to a degree, it is his position to be like, hey, I don't give a shit if you want to do this or not. You need to fucking do this. But, like...
Exactly. It's the fucking... It's the politickers, Miro, saying that they're injured, but they're actually not, because they, God forbid, they do a fucking job. God forbid people lay the fuck down and take the 3 count. Guess what, Miro? You're gonna fucking get nowhere doing that, dumbass.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like...
Also, stop having your wife show her fucking finger on fucking Twitter. It's fucking disgusting. Thank you. Okay. I digress.
Anyway, but, like... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to feel about that. Like, I get it one way, but I also get it the other way, and it just kind of, to me, sounds like problems in the locker room of if people are really going to be sitting there and be like, no, I'm not going to do this, I don't want to fucking do this, yada, yada, yada.
Not going to work for me, brother.
Then I do think that Tony needs to be taking a little bit more of a stance on it and being like, okay, well, that's too fucking bad. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to fucking do it.
Exactly.
And if you don't want to do it, then there's the fucking door.
And this is why no wrestlers should have creative control.
No, I disagree on that.
No, that's how WCW things happen. We don't do that. You got a booker, let him book the shit.
You shouldn't have full creative freedom. You should have creative freedom, though, for your character, for the stories that you want to do. But there should be more of a process that goes into it, aside of being like, I'm 100% doing this. This is all I want to do, yada, yada, yada. Like, you should be able to speak about things that you want to do with your character and run it through your booker and make it work out in the way that you can make it work out that's best for everybody in the fucking company. Like, you absolutely should, because if you don't have fucking freedom of control, then you're just gonna end up in, like, shit fucking WWE storylines, and no one's gonna be interested in it. And I mean, granted, if someone's not interested in a story that a wrestler puts out there for themselves, then that's on the fucking wrestler, and, you know, figure it the fuck out, I guess. But I don't know, I feel like it's important that you should be able to do what you want with your character.
I mean, I agree with that. Do what you want with your character, but if I'm coming to you and I'm saying, for the story that we are trying to tell, I need you to lose.
Yeah, no, that's different.
No, fuck you. you're gonna lose. Guess what, wrestlers? Everyone, backyard, indie, professional, I don't give a fuck. Losing's good. Losing helps. It helps you get over.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I don't think that you should be able to map out every single specific thing that you want to be doing. But I do think that letting wrestlers have the ability to come to you with stories and things that they want to do is very fucking important. And I feel like that also is, like, would be better for the business to begin with, because you're giving that freedom to a degree to those wrestlers to make them feel comfortable, happy, whatever it may be. But everything finalized should be going through Tony or whomever the bookers are, and worked out again in a way that is sensical and works for the program.
My favorite thing that I always hated when people were like, I don't want to lose or whatever. We're gonna do a double count out, and it's like, okay, go ahead. You know what? Go do a double count out, because you're gonna make the show look fucking stupid. You're gonna make yourselves look fucking stupid, and you're also gonna make me, the booker, look fucking stupid. So congratulations for making everyone look, including yourself, fucking stupid.
Well, I wouldn't compare backyard wrestling to professional wrestling, because
they're all children.
Backyard wrestling really is just the inmates running the fucking asylum. No matter how much you want to try and change it, like, and make it work.
I'm no longer an inmate, though.
No matter how you want to, like, try to make it different, like, it's always gonna be the inmates running the fucking asylum. Because someone's gonna get pissed off, or someone's gonna get...
It's a mess.
...irritated with this, that, and the other thing. It's gonna be a big fucking thing, and then just to keep the goddamn peace, everyone's gonna be like, fine, just let them do whatever the fuck that they want. Because everyone's already, no one's getting paid for this fucking shit. So, like,
I get
who the
paid,
fuck
no.
cares? But, like...
I got paid for it. No, I'm kidding.
You did not.
Anyway, speaking of people not getting paid and stuff because the check might be lost in FedEx, Paul Heyman will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024.
I really for a second thought that you were just going to start talking about something that I didn't hear about, that Paul Heyman wasn't paying people again.
No, I was just making a funny
like,
joke.
What the fuck is he doing now?
I saw a Bully Ray tweet. Let me find it. Talk about Paul Heyman being in the Hall of Fame. What do you think about Paul Heyman being in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, it's about damn fucking time. I'm kind of surprised it took this long. I mean, it makes sense because they're going to be in Philly, so that's super fucking cool. But, like, definitely feel like it should have been done way fucking sooner. You find it?
Yeah, so Bully Ray, like when WWE announced Paul Heyman was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, Bully Ray said, "Congrats, welcome to the club, well deserved at Heyman Hustle. We'll be sending your Hall of Fame ring via FedEx. The tracking number is ... because back in the day, Paul Heyman would send like the checks out and be like, Paul, where's my check? Where's my payment? It's coming. The tracking info, and then he would hang up the phone. What a carny motherfucker.
Why did he not just hand them the check?
Because it's Paul Heyman. He didn't have the money then.
Yeah.
He never had the money. He still probably owes everyone fucking money.
Did no one ever, like, consider that of just, like, why is he not handing us the checks? Why is he making
Oh, no,
them?
they knew.
Okay.
They knew. Like, they knew why they weren't getting paid. It was just, Paul, where the fuck is it?
I mean, yeah.
Or there was another story. The best story I've ever heard is, I don't know if they still do it, like airlines do it, but if you're flying and you do something where like a family member dies or something, you get like a discount. Mm-hmm. So Paul Heyman and this was pre 9/11, so this is before like security checks out of the ass with everything. So Paul Heyman would call the airlines and be like, hey, and give a different name of the wrestler, like Charles Dickinson is gonna be flying. His grandmother died, and then he would go to like Tommy Dreamer, for example, and be like, when you go to the airport, your name is Charles Dickinson. He would lie to the airports just so that he didn't have to pay for like people's flights.
Jesus fucking Christ.
What a crazy guy.
Well,
I'm happy that he's being inducted though. Yeah, I'm happy.
Well fucking deserved. Kind of sad we can't go to Mania. We're or see the Hall of Fame, but like
We're gonna see the Hall of Fame.
no in person.
Oh yeah.
Live.
Well, we're going to
Baroka.
We'll be going to the ECW arena at least.
Yeah, hopefully we have to figure that out.
I'll be sitting there in the ECW arena and be like, that's where New Jack dived off of.
Catch me taking my Easy Pass out of my car and sticking it in yours and just being like, we're fucking doing this. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on, but...
Anyway, let's segue over to what stuck out to us on Dynamite. AEW Dynamite.
Let's go.
From this past Wednesday, the go-home show to Revolution.
Very clearly, fuck, I guess, anything that happened on Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck whatever the hell happened
We didn't
on Raw.
watch Raw.
We didn't?
We didn't. We were watching the Randy Orton thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We didn't watch Raw. Swerve got swerved.
Damn right he did.
He got swerved.
Damn right he did. By Mr. Man with the mustache.
He did.
Fucking
Hangman,
good.
Hangman faked an injury. And then he hit Swerve with the crutch. He swerved.
Yeah?
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm happy about it.
And then they had a very mid triple threat match.
We'll get into that. But I mean, good. I'm liking what they're doing with Hangman, and that he's quite literally losing his fucking mind. But it was kind of funny watching him walk down the ring with like his fucking pants tucked into his cowboy boots.
He was limping with the like, bro, I know your ankle ain't hurt. You're wearing a cowboy boot.
The fashion doesn't stop for anything. Cunt doesn't stop for anything.
Anyway, any other thoughts on it?
Not overly entirely, just because, like, you know, I mean, I feel like I would have had more to say if this was pre-Revolution. With now Revolution happening, like, things have kind of melded together a little bit. And more of what I want to talk about will kind of go into that. But I just really fucking like what they're doing with Hangman and him turning into an absolute fucking maniac and him, like, just consistently having it out for Swerve, which, again, we'll talk a little bit more about later. But yeah, no, I mean, what the whole thing that they've been doing, as I've been saying for weeks, that they've been doing with this Hangman and Swerve storyline is just fucking gold. So that's all I really got to say about it. I wish Hangman would hit me with a crutch. Anyway, continue.
FT Eddie versus the Blackpool Combat Club.
FT Eddie.
FT Eddie. For the Eddie.
For the Eddie.
For the Eddie versus the BCC.
What did you say on this?
I said it was a pretty good trios match, because it was.
How did this end?
FT Eddie won.
FT Eddie won.
Yeah.
Did they?
I think so. This happened last week. I forget.
I know. It's really hard to be remembering this shit right
remember it being a really good trios match. It was just to further all their stories. Because
yeah. I think FTR and Eddie did win, because I think at the end of it we were saying, like, CM Punk's calling Dax right now, being like, "Why the fuck did you tag team with Eddie?
Yeah.
Why'd you pull Eddie into this? What the fuck?"
No, it was a good trios match though.
I like how I think for a good chunk of the match, Eddie and Mox didn't touch.
Yeah.
And I think eventually they did, but like I really really like how they're still kind of going with that. Like, I don't know, to me, I know that they had their match for the Continental Crown and everything, but to me there's still something going on here. Like, this isn't finished. So I wanna run it back with Eddie and Mox again. I want to see what the fuck else they can do.
Anyway, Will Ospreay made the Don Callis family better.
Will Ospreay single-handedly saved the Don Callis family, and also didn't say cunt yet. So
I'm waiting for it.
I'm giving him 2 months tops until he accidentally says it on live TV. Not talking about pay-per-views. Pay-per-views, you can give a pass to. Talking live TV, I'm waiting for him to fucking say it. But yeah, no, he somehow, in that quick little promo segment thing that they did, just made it all the worlds better.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for Will Ospreay in this retrospect, and you know, again, as we're gonna eventually talk about Revolution, we'll talk a little bit more about it and things that I think are gonna possibly happen in the future with this. But yeah, no, I'm so excited to see him every week. I'm so fucking excited to see him every week.
Me too.
I went from being an adamant Will Ospreay fucking hater to absolutely loving Will Ospreay.
I love Will Ospreay.
Like, love him so much.
Anyway, your boys, Matthew and Nicholas, they were dress coding people.
I know, it's crazy.
They were dress coding people. I felt like I was in school.
That was also part of what I was saying earlier before we started this recording about when they dress coded Eddie and how Nick was like, actually, no, I have a bone to pick with you because you were fucking mean to us last week, and how I really want Eddie and Nick Jackson singles match. Like,
This is when I said I think it'd be funny if Eddie actually listens to the dress code, but it's just him wearing the Redeem These Nuts shirt, and he comes out with like a yellow Wu-Tang Clan tie.
Yeah. Or he comes out in a Philadelphia tux.
Yeah.
Like, just something like, hey, it's a tux, like, whatever. Yeah, no, I love throughout the whole episode that they were just kind of wandering around with bats and shit. And
they broke in the Sting's locker room.
And the bats were dangling from the ceiling and whatnot. And I could see from your notes that we're going to kind of
we can segue into it right now. One more time. One last time. Sting from the rafters.
Just fucking great.
I love that whole segment was good.
Did you see all the memes though of people being like, "Look, he's SpongeBob."
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So the whole thing throughout the entire show of the Buckies, the Buckaroos, my boys,
the show long storyline.
The show long storyline was really fucking good. Appreciate it. I liked a lot of the parallels that they kind of also threw back to. Not only just with Sting, but they also threw back to the parallels with Hangman and the Broken Mirror and everything.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And Sting coming down from the rafters, of course, and then Darby doing the mask, the Sting mask thing and beating the shit out of fucking, I think it was Nick. I think he smacked Nick. No, that was great. And that the whole thing of them just in the past couple weeks leading up to the match has just been told fucking pitch perfect and fucking beautifully. And obviously, again, when we get to Revolution, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But I really do firmly believe that the Young Bucks were the proper choice for Sting's final match. And I absolutely mean that with no bias. But, like, what better way to tell this man's, 39 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Almost 40-year-long fucking story from who are arguably one of the best storytellers in the business today. You know, like they did such a fucking good job with it. But yeah, I like seeing him from the rafters again. Kind of made me cry a little bit, but whatever.
Anyway, let's talk about the one thing that was on SmackDown that was like 90% of the show.
I'm so glad I missed it.
Because it took 40 fucking minutes to get through this. Which,
so fucking glad I missed it.
I'm not complaining, but goddamn, I'm just very shocked that they went 40 fucking minutes for this. It took them 40 minutes for The Rock to challenge Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins to a tag team match, to acknowledge Roman Reigns, and then say, now go home and smoke some more crack.
Dude, if I was there live, I would have been so fucking pissed.
40 minutes.
I would have been so pissed. And also, I saw a lot of people mention online, like, it took him 40 minutes for this elongated promo that, again, I missed 90% of it by the time I got home from work, which thank fucking God, because I would have been pissed if I sat through that whole thing. And then ended up giving fucking Naomi the jobber entrance. Because he took so much fucking goddamn time.
Yeah, they went overtime.
Yeah.
They went overtime on it.
Like, what the
40
fuck, dude?
fucking minutes.
Like, really? Fucking really?
40 minutes. But what do you think of, we're pretty much getting Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth.
Stupid.
I like
it. Stupid. It shouldn't have ever fucking come to this. And it's all Jack Perry's fault.
Jack Perry fucked a lot of things up.
You know, I'm going back and forth with Jack Perry of me saying, I fucking love Jack Perry. Thank you, Jack Perry, to fuck you, Jack Perry. Because if he didn't fucking do that goddamn real glass shit and send CM Punk home packing, and CM Punk came back and got injured, we wouldn't be in this goddamn fucking mess. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's so unnecessary. So does not need to fucking happen. It's taking away from either Seth's main event match, which sure, it's still a main event that Seth's in it, but for his own goddamn fucking title. Don't look at my text messages.
No, your phone was like, it sounded like someone was calling you.
No.
Oh.
It either took away from Seth's main event match for his own goddamn fucking belt.
Who gives a fuck? That's the secondary belt.
Or it took away from Bayley and Io being a main event. which is fucking stupid.
Breaking news as I'm on Facebook here. Santana is officially gone from AEW.
I'm not surprised.
Me either.
I'm not surprised in the slightest. Who was the one that was like out? Was it Santana or Ortiz who was hurt for a while?
Santana.
Okay.
And then he came back. He did the fucking football fuckery match.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually couldn't think of the right name for it. That's why I was just like, I'm calling it football fuckery.
Well, I know what you mean. Stadium Stampede?
Yeah,
Is that what you're
Stadium
talking about?
Stampede. Yeah, he did the Stadium Stampede match. Sorry, Jim, for ripping off your thing. But
sorry, Jim.
He did the Stadium Stampede match, and then he had like one match on Collision or some shit. Yeah. Oh, he faced Ortiz.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like him and Ortiz
that was it.
Went at it.
Yeah.
And I was like, because were they both still cool with Eddie, or was it just Ortiz that was cool with Eddie? Like, which one was the one causing problems? Was it Santana?
I think it was Santana, but Santana wanted to be booked better, and Ortiz was just like, bro, I got a job, I'm cool.
Okay, yeah, so that's kind of what I was trying to remember. So okay, yeah, I'm really not fucking surprised.
But I think they were both cool with Eddie. Because, like, they were, like, friends for years, but, like, at the same time, it was, like, I have a job, I'm cool with it, but, like, Santana was, like, I want better fucking opportunities.
Which, like, I get that of, like, I want better opportunities and going to better yourself and whatnot, but again, I'm also not really fucking surprised, you know, so.
I just think Proud and Powerful should have been booked better in AEW. They should have won the tag team titles at least once.
Yeah, well, anyway,
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Let's talk about Revolution. We'll go match by match.
We're gonna do match by match and then kind of give overall feelings. Also, apologies for any noises that you hear. Again, there's some motorcycles.
Shut the fuck up, motherfucker.
There's some motorcycles going by because we live in a very loud area and a shit place.
Can you shut up?
Just talk.
Let's talk about the two matches that were on 0 Hour.
I didn't think we were talking about 0 Hour.
Well, I guess we are because it's here.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Bang Bang Scissor Gang versus Jeff Jarrett and friends.
Actually, before we get into that, since we're gonna talk about the pre-show a little bit, there was some issues going on in the pre-show, and by issues I mean there was some things that people were a little bit up in arms about. Renee Paquette stated on the pre-show that the main event was going to be the world title triple threat match. And not
just once. She said
twice.
It like 3 times.
So it was, at first I thought maybe she misspoke or something just didn't line up properly, but then it was said like 3 times, and a lot of people were getting really fucking pissed off because for the past couple days it has been promoted that Sting's last match was going to be the main event and whatnot, and then apparently that was changed. So a lot of people were pretty fucking pissed off about that. Of course, we're going to get into it a little bit later. However, as the show went on, that eventually did change. So just wanted to throw that out there as what the fuck were they thinking?
Anyway.
But yes, let's get into the first match.
The Bang Bang Scissor Gang versus Jeff Jarrett and friends.
Yes.
Why the fuck did this match happen? I don't give a fuck about this. Why the fuck is Jay White on 0 Hour? Why is Jeff Jarrett on 0 Hour? This is just fucking horrible. Moving on.
No, I want to talk about it. We're not just moving on after you just said something about it.
God awful. I'm sorry. I hate the Acclaimed anymore. Like I just can't. Like it's old. I don't like it. It's ran its fucking course. They got lightning in a bottle that one time when they should have won the tag team titles the first time, but then they waited a few weeks to do it. So it's just, I fucking hate it. I fucking hate that Jay White's doing this shit. He is holding a title of a dead fucking company pretty much. I hate it.
Well, that's your opinion, and I don't agree with it.
I hate it.
I think it's fine. I think it's fun. I like seeing Jay White be goofy, and he's being goofy with some goofy guys. I still really like the Acclaimed. I know there's been some discourse about Max Caster online, and, that's kind of neither here nor there in the point of, like, the overall match and the overall faction thing that they have going on. I mean, it's pretty clear it's going to be Bullet Club Gold versus the Acclaimed, probably for their trios belts and whatever, and Bullet Club Gold's probably going to win them off of them. It's very clear that that's where this whole thing is fucking going, and I get that it's not everybody's cup of tea, But again, I'm here for like some little shits and giggles. The actual match itself, I mean, fine, sure, whatever. I don't understand why it did need to happen. I'll agree with that. But I do like that they had Jay White just promoting the fucking pay-per-view.
That's also my complaint. I hate Sunday pay-per-views, and I hate that AEW has 946 matches on the pay-per-views. Limit it to like 8 matches, god damn it.
I think that's a stupid fucking complaint.
Like, or if you're gonna run a 4-hour fucking pay-per-view, don't start at 8 o'clock. Start at 7 and end it at 11. I don't want to stay up till fucking midnight.
I mean, I don't really agree with that,
like,
but
fuck.
I get that for a lot of other people. Because I'm off Monday, so it doesn't fucking affect me.
Like, start at 7.
But I get that, but I don't know. Again, I'd rather long pay-per-views. I would rather jam-packed long fucking pay-per-views with a bunch of different matches and a bunch of different stories going on.
I'd rather a pay-per-view with more than 4 matches, yes. But I don't want a pay-per-view with fucking 13 goddamn matches. How many matches are on this card, including the pre-show?
I'll take 13 matches. I don't care. I like wrestling.
There's
like
11 on this. So
yeah.
there was 9 on the regular card. Okay, fine, but still, it felt really super long. Because that's the thing with AEW. They have this problem of every match needs to be 25 minutes.
Which is fine.
No.
I don't mind it.
It's not. Anyway, moving on to the next match. On the 0-hour pre-show, we had Chris Statlander and Willow defeating Julia Hart and Sky Blue.
Great match.
They're furthering the storyline with the TBS title.
Yeah.
That's pretty much that whole point of this match.
But no, that was a fantastic match.
It was a good match.
I really thought that, I mean, Chris and Willow did win, and I was thinking they were going to win, but I thought they were going to win because I thought Stokely was going to get involved with some sort of weapon or a chain or something. But no, they won clean, so like that was pretty cool. Yeah, I love them all. I love all of them. They're all fucking phenomenal wrestlers.
Moving on to the main card. Opening the show, Christian Cage defended his TNT title against Daniel Garcia.
Your thoughts?
It was an okay match.
It was fine.
They both had better matches, but it was good. I don't think the right outcome happened. Christian should never lose that TNT title.
Yeah, I don't think that there was necessarily anything wrong with the match. I thought it was fine. I was kind of thinking maybe possibly Adam Copeland was going to show up and cost Danny the match.
I thought something was going to happen with Adam Copeland.
I did see someone say that, like, he wasn't going to be at the pay-per-view or wasn't going to be on the pay-per-view. I don't know if he's just taking time off, if he has, like, a legitimate injury or something, or what was all going on.
No, I think he's just taking time off.
Yeah, I would say I haven't heard that he's hurt, so.
He's been a part-time wrestler since he came back. Like, that's the best thing to do with him. Like, you don't...
But I was thinking
man's
maybe...
had a broken neck.
I was thinking maybe he was going to come out and fuck up Daniel Garcia and maybe, like, you know, join Christian or whatever. But, you know, we'll see what ends up happening. I'm sure he's not going to be gone for long.
Moving on next, for the Continental Crown, Eddie Kingston versus Bryan Danielson, and... if Bryan Danielson lost, which he did, he had to shake Eddie Kingston's hand.
Also another phenomenal fucking match.
It was a good match. It was a really good match.
I mean, obviously this isn't the first time they've been in the ring with each other. But
they completed the trilogy.
Yeah, I'm never going to get sick of them wrestling each other, cuz even though their styles are kind of different, like they still just meld so fucking well together in the ring. And there's a lot of, like, good story going into it, and, like, just with the past 3 matches that they've done together and watching, like, Eddie's strength and whatnot and persistence keep pushing and going further and further and further. And the ending was really nice about Danielson, like, going to shake his hand, but they'd be like, no, wait, I'm sorry, I'll shake your hand. And then they bowed to each other.
Finally got Eddie got the Bryan Danielson endorsement.
He got the arm raise.
That's what he wanted, and that's what he got. Anyway, moving on to the All-Star Scrambled Vibe Killer match, because this killed the vibes of this fucking show, because this fucking match was pure garbage.
How long did it run?
15 minutes and 45 fucking seconds.
It felt like it was way longer than that.
That's 15 minutes, 45 seconds too much.
It went way long. It felt like it went way longer than that.
Wardlow won, great.
So...
he gets a future world title shot, cool, but, like, Chris Jericho fucking sucks. Dante Martin fucking sucks, and so does Brian Cage.
Well, I wanna go in and actually talk about this a little bit instead of you just scrolling past it.
I didn't give a fuck about this match, so go on.
I want to talk about this. So, I thought that like the first 5 minutes of the match was fine. When it was
Meat Madness, yeah.
Yes.
I loved Meat Madness.
Yes, when it ended up being the Meat Madness thing for the first 5 minutes, I thought it was fine. I was like, okay, this is working. I'm liking this. And then, no disrespect in saying this, when the smaller guys came in, it started getting kind of sloppy. And then it just kind of started taking a nosedive. And I noticed, and this is coming from someone who's a really big fan of him, Dante Martin was very sloppy during this match. I know he had, his foot was broken and everything. It was literally in the opposite fucking direction that it's supposed to be. So I'm wondering if maybe he was just having some issues with his foot or something, or what. But he got caught on the ropes twice. He dove through the ropes and he got caught, and then he tried to dive over the ropes and got caught, and then ended up falling onto the side of the ring, the hardest part of the ring.
The apron.
The apron, thank you. He ended up falling onto the ring apron and completely fucking up his spot. And he was having a hard time on the ropes and everything. It's not the Dante that I'm used to seeing. So I don't know what the fuck was going on with him, but he was very, very, very sloppy. And I also don't understand why this match replaced... So this match replaced Meat Madness, but that's neither here nor there. If they were going to take a match to replace Meat Madness that was going to be for the world title...
This was just to get Chris Jericho on the card.
Well, no. That's not what I'm talking about. If they were going to make a match to replace the Meat Madness match for the world title, why the fuck did they not just do the ladder match Sonic Ring match? Why was this a scramble? Why didn't we just say, okay, let's just keep the tradition alive, make this a ladder match for the Sonic Ring, and then you get the ring, and that's your ticket for the... Why was it a scramble? I don't understand why they did it.
That would have been their best bet, because guess what? No one would have to take a pin.
Yeah, and also, then Chris Jericho could just so desperately be on the fucking card when he really didn't need to be on the card at all.
Chris Jericho needs to go the fuck away.
Chris Jericho needs to retire.
He needs to fuck off.
He needs to retire, and that's, again, kind of disrespect because of the things that have come out about him. But he's nowhere near as to what he used to be. He's not going to be. It's very clear that he's winding down, and I think it's time he just retires, ends it the way that he wants to end it, whatever, and have that be that. That's all we fucking need.
And don't do commentary, please.
Yeah, we don't need you on commentary. But, yeah, I don't know. I think the match was kind of pointless. Again, if they made it the ladder match, that would have made a lot more sense. And, again, you probably could have gotten away with a little bit more. But it was just kind of a wreck.
It killed the vibe of the
show.
Anyway, moving on to a match that I didn't even pay attention to because I knew what the outcome was going to be. I don't want to watch an Orange Cassidy match. Roderick Strong versus Orange Cassidy for the international title, and Roddy won. Thank God. Orange Cassidy can go the fuck away for 6 months now.
So I'm a little... I feel like I've been saying this for the past 6 months, but I'm a little bit surprised, not by the outcome of the match, because I knew Roddy was going to win this. I really, really, really... They're hinting heavy at Trent turning on Orange. And I really thought that there was going to be something in this match with, I know Orange told them to stay backstage, but where Trent was going to end up coming out and costing Orange Cassidy, and he was going to turn on him or something. They have been hinting so fucking heavily at this, and I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time as to when, and I want it to happen so fucking soon. All in all, though, the match was good. Roddy kept just destroying Orange Cassidy's back, and that was kind of the whole shtick of the match, was just, I'm gonna fuck up your back so goddamn bad, and then I'm going to take your belt, and then Kyle O'Reilly's gonna return. And Kyle O'Reilly did return.
That was the only good thing about this match, was Kyle returning, and the one bump that Orange took.
There was nothing inherently wrong about this match. You just don't like Orange Cassidy.
I fucking hate him.
And that's fine. You don't have to like him, but to sit here and just say that that's the only good thing that came out of the match, again, it was fine.
I hated it.
It wasn't like the match was ungodly awful and unwatchable because...
I want him to go away for 6 months.
Because it was an 8-man scramble that no one knew what the fuck they were doing in. It was a fine match.
Fuck that scramble match.
But, it was predictable, and the right outcome happened. And, then Kyle came back, which I'm so fucking happy to see him, and I'm glad that he's doing better because I was very worried about him for a very long time.
And he was wearing a Bull Nakano shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find that shirt.
He has very moppy hair.
I want to find that shirt of hers.
Very moppy hair, kind of looked like a sad puppy.
Yeah.
Excited to see what's going on with that.
Anyway, moving on. Blackpool Combat Club versus FTR. I was kind of shocked that Blackpool Combat Club won. I thought FTR might have won, or they were going to do another time limit draw. It's just one of those things where it's like, well, I guess we got to see where the story goes. Because to be honest with you, I don't know where they're going with this.
I don't know where they're going with it either. I thought FTR was going to win. I like both of their tribute gear. That was really fucking cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even know if I understand the story.
If I'm going to be honest with you, the 20-minute time limit draw was better than this match.
It was. It was
better than this.
It's not, again.
This match wasn't bad. It was good, but it's just one of those. I'm like, I don't know what they're trying to tell us here.
Here's the issue with this match that I have. There should have been a stipulation. There wasn't.
Yeah, there should have been a stipulation.
Like you did like this time limit draw thing. And it was like, okay, well, we need more time to beat you type of thing. They went 21 minutes and 50 seconds, a minute and 50 seconds over what the time limit draw was.
Well, from the first match, this was a 30-minute time limit.
Well, nonetheless, like, this should have been an Iron Man match. This should have been, like, a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Something. One
of the two. Like, it should have been something. But it wasn't, and it wasn't a bad match. It was great. Like this match. Give me my coffee.
This match was more so. The first match was a wrestling match. This one was more so a fight.
We should have made it like no DQ or something then.
Well, that would be too many no DQ tornado tag matches on the show.
Nonsense. There's never enough.
All right, moving on. A match that I did not watch at all. I only watched the beginning for Mariah May coming out as Toni Storm, and that was Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo, because if I'm going to be honest with you, Deonna Purrazzo doesn't do it for me.
So, Mariah May coming out as Toni Storm was really fucking cool.
She looked like Toni Storm.
She looked just like her. She looked great. But I watched the match. I liked it.
Deonna Purrazzo just doesn't do. I
get that. Like,
she doesn't do it for me, and it's weird saying that because she's supposed to be this technical wrestler, and I'm a fan of technical wrestling. She just doesn't do it for me, man.
I get that. Like, I don't dislike her. I don't think she's bad. I think she's a good wrestler. I just am not gotten behind her yet. You know, like, to me, there's not a whole hell of a lot about her that has me really excited about her. Like, and I haven't seen her prior to, so maybe I'm just missing out on what she's done in the past, and we just haven't gotten there yet with AEW. But I think the issue with this match for me is because I feel like we haven't gotten there yet. So she shows up. Yeah, she's known Toni Storm for a long time. Very reminiscent of the Jamie Hayter story, which is why I thought Jamie was going to come out and come back, but she didn't. Very reminiscent to the Jamie Hayter storyline with Toni Storm. And that's all we really know. That's as far as we kind of got with this story. We haven't really... She's had a couple singles matches before Revolution, but we haven't really built a whole lot. We haven't really seen a whole lot. So to me, it just kind of felt like this girl just kind of showed up, got this title match, and that's as far as... That's literally all we wrote. Like, that's it.
Did you notice that Toni Storm let Mariah May hold the title finally? Mm-hmm. And Luther didn't, like, freak out about it? Mm-hmm. That's great.
But,
she's gonna take the belt off of Toni Storm.
I don't think she's gonna be the one to take the belt. But,
damn right she will.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, the match wasn't bad, and I don't think Deonna Purrazzo was a bad wrestler by any means. I just felt like there wasn't a whole lot to this, and it felt kind of rushed, but...
It was 12...
No, I'm not saying the match felt rushed.
It was the shortest match on the card, I think. Hold on. 12:25... 12:45. Yeah, it was the shortest match on the card. 12:15.
Well, again, I don't think that I'm not saying the match itself felt rushed. I'm saying the lead up to this felt kind of rushed and a little smorgasbordy. So it was, it is what it is. But again, I'm excited to see what she does because I don't want to count her out just yet. So I'm excited to kind of see where we go from here with her. And it was fine. It was a fine match.
let's talk about a match that wasn't fine, but great. Possibly match of the night, and Dave Meltzer would be smoking crack if he doesn't give it 5 stars. And that is Will Ospreay versus Takeshita.
That's 22 minutes on the dot.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Will Ospreay versus Takeshita. Holy fuck.
Yeah, no.
God damn.
Easy match of the year contender.
God damn.
Easy match of the year contender already.
God damn, what a match.
And I feel like I'm going to say that about every single Will Ospreay match that he does in AEW.
What a fucking match.
Fucking sane. Absolutely insane. I mean, we were talking about this a little bit earlier today about Takeshita and how you were getting behind Takeshita and then he kind of had a nosedive, but now you're back with him. I personally, I'm going to go on record, I'm going to say this so everybody fucking knows, I have never once in my life doubted Takeshita. Never once in my life. He's always been so fucking great. And I agree though, there was that little bit of the nosedive with Dawn, and I feel like Dawn is kind of taken away from Takeshita, but I feel like in this match, Will Ospreay really reminded everybody who the fuck Takeshita is, because he is fucking incredible. And of course, so is Will Ospreay, but I feel like Ospreay really shined that light back on Takeshita and be like, yeah, no, remember this guy that when he came up from dark, everyone was losing their fucking minds over? Remember this guy from fucking
that beat
DDT?
Kenny Omega 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, this fucking guy. So, I mean,
that would have been wild if they had Takeshita beat Ospreay. So, Takeshita could have been like, I've beaten Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. That would have been fucking insane.
That would have been. But...
And then, I said it to you last night, I was like, imagine a Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, and Takeshita triple threat. Holy shit.
Tony, book it. Tony, book it.
Holy shit.
Kenny, I hope your diverticulitis is clearing up and doing better, but as soon as you get back, I need you to be put into the most intense match you've probably ever going to be in your entire goddamn fucking life. Immediately.
Because let's talk about a triple threat match that, in my opinion, wasn't the best. It was pretty mid.
Okay.
And that is the world title match of Samoa Joe, Hangman, and Swerve. I've seen all 3 of these men do better.
Oh, no, I agree.
This was not good. And in my opinion, wrong outcome.
Incredibly wrong outcome. I like the story, and I get it, but still wrong.
Swerve should have won.
Swerve definitely should have won. The hands down, he should have fucking won.
No offense to Mr. Joseph.
But, I get it, because Hanger tapped, and Swerve...
That's the only right thing about this. Hangman took the fall.
Yeah, he should have, 100%. No matter what the outcome was going to be, Hanger should have been taking the fall.
Because it should have been Hangman taking the fall from Swerve, and then that could have led to a Joe and Swerve one-on-one. Mm-hmm. That we should have gotten, technically, at this show, but whatever.
But Hanger, was in the submission, and Swerve was crawling over, trying to get over to break this up, and then Hanger tapped. And obviously, the story of this is kind of more so now leaning as Hangman doesn't care about the title as much as he cares about Swerve not having it. So Hanger tapping, knowing Joe was going to retain, and nonetheless Swerve was not going to have this title. So I like that story. And I like that angle that we're going into this with, because it started as, I deserve to be world champion, I deserve to have another reign, yada, 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 to now, you're never going to have this won't be yours, I will make sure that you never fucking have this, and has gone from, I deserve to be champion, to, I know you don't deserve to be champion.
I just hope they just don't run this Swerve Hangman feud too dry, because it's March now, and it's been going on since, November?
I don't recall the first match, but probably.
That's my only thing of, worrying about this. This feud is good. This feud is pretty good. I'm enjoying everything that's going on with the Swerve and Hangman. Shut up! The Swerve and Hangman feud. But just don't run it dry. Don't do a Chris Jericho feud.
I think this is gonna end at Double or Nothing.
Please have it end at Double or Nothing. Or Dynasty, the next pay-per-view coming up.
I mean, maybe Dynasty, but I think this is ending at Double or Nothing at the latest. I don't think they're gonna run it too much longer. But I'm enjoying it, And I like how they keep adding and keep digging with it. And they're still keeping it interesting. You know what I mean? Like they're adding other levels to it. So I'm curious to see how the fuck it does end. But, you know, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, I agree. I've seen all three men do better. Again, by all means, it was not a bad match. It wasn't like the drizzling shits. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't god awful.
It wasn't the scramble match.
It wasn't the scramble match. But it was fine. Like, it was fine for what it was. And it was definitely more about showcasing the Swerve and Hangman story than it really was about the belt.
Not gonna lie, like halfway through this, I was like, okay, boys, take it home because the next match I want to see really bad, and like it's getting late, so like we can stop at 10 minutes. Like let's fucking wrap it up,
don't
boys.
agree with that.
Let's go home.
I don't agree with that at all. But I mean, I think it was fine. Yeah, sure. Anyway,
the main event, the true main event that should have been the main event, and it was the main event. Because, goddamn it, it deserved to be the goddamn main event.
And then it wasn't. And then it was again.
It deserved to be the goddamn main event because, goddamn it, tag team action deserves the main event of pay-per-view every once in a fucking while. And especially if a motherfucker's retiring, might as well fucking let them go out there last. And that's the Tornado tag match between Sting and Darby Allin versus Matthew and Nicholas Jackson.
The EVPs.
The EVP Young Bucks.
No, just the EVPs.
What a fucking match.
Absolutely incredible.
What a bonkers match, bro.
I was crying when they had that so they had the Sting promo, not promo package, but the Sting like vignette, I guess maybe. What would you call that? The tribute video,
his prelude to his entrance.
Prelude to his entrance.
He came out. Package. Sting came out the Seek and Destroy by Metallica again. Came out with his sons dressed up as Stings.
I was crying about the video package because it was emotional, and then his one son came out as like Surfer Sting, and then his other son came out as Wolfpack Sting. And then Sting came out as Sting, current day Sting. And I was crying about that.
It was nice what they did with having Ric Flair there and even Ricky Steamboat. Like, they were there. Like, they didn't take too much away from it. They got involved.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which we'll get to. But, like, it wasn't, like, they didn't make it about them or anything. It was just like, okay, here's Sting's friends from the past.
Yeah.
And like, shout out to Magnum TA and the Nikita Koloff and Scotty Riggs sitting in the crowd.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, made me pop.
But yeah, no, so the entrance alone, I was crying and I was like, oh my god, this is so emotional. And then as I'm still like in the midst of fucking crying, Darby's like, okay, time to throw myself out of the ring. Bro, they just cannonballed himself out of the goddamn ring.
They started hot and heavy and Sting's kids got involved. Stinger really splashes. Fucking cool. There was glass. Darby went through glass.
Darby died but didn't die.
I think all four of them died.
I was so fucking certain that Nick Jackson was going to take a glass bump. I was so certain of it. I was there was they set up the first glass spot with the table or on the chairs and the ladder, and Nick's down there, and I was like, of course, of the two of them, of course it's going to be Nick that's going through the glass. And then Matt pulls him away, and I'm like, oh. And then Nick's setting up the glass in the ring, and I was like, see, Nick's setting up the glass. Nick's going through the glass. And then Sting went through, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? But, yeah, no. I mean, honestly, picture perfect way to end the fucking career.
Let's talk about them beating up the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and super kicking Ric Flair.
I'm so happy they super kicked Ric Flair. That was the Young Bucks face turn.
Bro, Ric Flair was doing his Onita moment. And I'm like, no, not
it's enough. It's enough. And like Matt's sitting there with the tag belt, and he's like contemplating it. Like
Ric Flair
like his
took
brother,
a super kick, bro.
He's contemplating not hitting this old man with this tag belt. Like his brother didn't just fucking knock him in the nuts like 3 days ago.
And then they attack Ricky Steamboat. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, they beat the fuck out of these guys. And let's talk about the finish. Sting went over.
Yeah, which I was kind of surprised about.
I'm surprised, but I'm not mad. Also I'm not mad. It's Sting. Like Sting
went out undefeated.
He went out undefeated. The tag titles are now vacated. Sting went out the way Sting should have went out, in my opinion.
The tag titles are saved from the corrupt EVPs of the company, and they'll have to climb their way back up to getting another shot at it, type of thing, unless they pay their way through the tournament.
Sting went out the way Sting should have went out.
Yeah, and I think he deserves to have gone out the way that he did as a champion.
His AEW, like, bro, fuck his whole WWE run. Fuck everything about that run. It was god awful. Fuck Vince McMahon. You're a piece of fucking human garbage anyway. Go fuck yourself. You should be in jail, you piece of shit, for everything that you've done. But the way you booked Sting, Vince, was garbage. And I'm glad Tony Khan gave Sting the right way.
I mean, I also heard, which I'm not really surprised about, but, like, you know, it kind of is what it is, that, like, WWE, you know, didn't give over footage of Sting.
Well, of course they weren't.
Yeah.
PWI came in handy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, so it's just, like, you know, I mean, that also kind of sucks. That, like...
Well, the good thing is, we were able to get the never-before-seen New Japan footage of Sting with AEW. You wouldn't have gotten that in WWE.
No, absolutely not. So, I mean... Realistically, I mean, if we had to lose one of the things that we were going to be seeing, it's going to be the WWE one.
I'm surprised they didn't use, like, TNA footage. I don't know what goes on with, like, the rights of TNA footage.
I don't know what's going on over in TNA.
Yeah. But I'm just surprised, like, they couldn't get, like, TNA footage or some shit.
Yeah, I mean... I don't know.
They got, I know, watching, like, the thing that they were doing before his entrance, they got away with showing some WCW footage without, like, knowing. It was from different, like, photographers and videographers and stuff. But I was like, I've seen that before, but from a different angle.
Well, those videographers or photographers, whichever, they own the right to that.
Yeah.
Not...
Well, yeah,
WCW.
But I'm just saying they got They technically did, but they didn't.
They were able to get around it.
They didn't show Sting attacking the NWO.
Yeah,
because they can't. But Sting got to come out to seek and destroy. That wouldn't have happened in WWE. No. He got to come out to seek and destroy. His sons got to be there with him. They acknowledged Surfer Sting and Wolfpack Sting. Hell, there you go. They acknowledged the NWO.
Yeah, 100%.
They acknowledged the NWO.
I mean, even in Sting's speech, which unfortunately was the only down part about this whole thing.
Fuck pay-per-view. Get a streaming service, Tony.
They cut it off, so we couldn't hear his whole, like, you know, debacle at the end of it. But... He did throw up the little too sweet symbol.
Damn right he should have.
So he was like, oh wait, I can still do that.
Damn right. I can still do that. NWO for life, brother.
Yeah, no, I think it was a perfect way to end out his career. It was fucking insane of a match. It was fairly close to possibly being a death match.
There was real glass, motherfucker.
They went fucking insane with it. Real glass, go cry me a river.
There was real glass.
And yeah, right. I mean, I feel like any outcome was a right outcome. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that,
well, because the time-honored tradition is you should lose your last match. Like, that's why I was expecting, Sting's 100% taking the pin, because, I've said it to you before, because I know Sting would also be like, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, but Darby is. Darby doesn't need to take the pin. But also... It's fucking Sting, goddammit. Yeah. He can go out with a win.
I mean, I more so just thought they were gonna lose because they were holding the tag belts. So I was like, of course, I mean, they can't leave champions, but I think they did, and they'll just do a tournament.
I think the whole point of this was to give a happy ending instead of, let's have them lose, and then the happy ending of goodbye, guys. Yeah. Like, let's have a straight up happy ending. They win. Yeah. And, like, it's a party.
And realistically speaking, with, you know, Sting being able to do his retirement right now, I feel like he deserved that happy ending. Yeah. You know, like, he deserved to be able to go out on top.
Man, Sting has went through so much fucking bullshit his whole career. Hulk Hogan not wanting the fucking job to him after they were building up this great storyline between him and Hogan. The whole fast count thing, WCW in general, WWE.
And, you know, he still stayed...
TNA, Jeff Hardy getting fucked up.
And he still stayed humble the entire time.
Sting's never really complained.
Like, that's what it seems like everybody has to say about it, is that nobody has anything bad to say about him.
I was going to say, I've listened to many podcasts, and especially this past week, everyone was doing podcasts on Sting. Jeff Jarrett did one on Sting. Like, everyone was doing one on Sting. No negative words about it. It was always great words.
It was always just like, you're a great wrestler, but you're a better person. My type
favorite
of thing.
My favorite story though I hear about Sting is not bad or anything, but he had a problem with like I believe it was drugs or whatever back in the day. So he had a problem with something, and then he became a man of God, and he would rat out the wrestler. Like he would rat out the wrestlers who were cheating on their wives to their wives. Like he would go to their wives and be like, your husband's cheating on you. Like after he found God and shit. Like it was, I just love hearing, I can imagine Sting just going up to someone's wife being like, your husband's cheating on you.
What a good guy. He's a girl's girl. Sting's a girl's girl. I love that. Oh my God. Man. But I mean, I guess that kind of takes us into a continuation of this, of the Wrestler of the Week.
The Wrestler of the Week.
Yeah.
It's Sting!
You don't need to be yelling in the fucking microphone.
I need Tony Schiavone here to do that for me.
You don't need to be yelling in the fucking microphone.
Sting! Yeah. No, I get to pick Wrestler of the Week, but I think Lyssie pretty much is on agreement of this, that the Wrestler of the Week is fucking Sting.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it should be Sting. I love Sting. Lyssie, ask me about Sting.
I mean, God, I'm really bad at these question things. I don't really ever write them down. I just kind of think about things that come to my head. Okay, we'll just start, basic, I guess. What was your first introduction to Sting? Like, when do you remember first seeing Sting?
When he was in TNA.
Okay.
I was probably like 6, 7, 8, around that time. And I remember seeing this guy painted up, baseball bat, trench coat, looking like the Crow. And then you do some dig deeping, and then you realize, oh fuck, he is based off the Crow.
That's a lie.
Well, yeah.
So apparently that wasn't accurate.
I know, but
yes.
Crow Sting.
Up into our entire lives until like this week.
I will still refer to him as Crow Sting, all of that, because Crow Sting. But like, obviously finding out years later what they're like, watching the Crow years later and being like, oh. Like, okay, I see it now. And then obviously watching footage, like realizing, I thought Surfer Sting was a completely different person at first. And I was like, oh no, it's the same person and everything. And my favorite, I don't know if you're going to ask this question, what are you, the favorite incarnation of Sting? My favorite incarnation of Sting is Joker Sting.
That's fair.
I love, and I also loved Main Event Mafia Sting. I loved TNA Sting because that's technically what I grew up on.
Yeah.
Was TNA Sting.
I more so was along the lines with TNA Sting.
Like, I obviously I can go back and watch all the WCW stuff and everything, and I love that. I've watched the whole build up to him and Hogan, the NWO storyline. I've watched that week by week when the network first came out to like relive that. And man, that's one of probably the best fucking things I've ever watched, of this 18-month build of him not wrestling, him constantly showing up in the rafters, like being this vigilante. He's gonna stop the NWO and everything. Like it was, and he didn't talk. Mm-hmm. It was cool. I also, even though it was WCW 2000, and we can have a whole episode on that eventually if we want, but I really enjoyed his stuff he did with Vampiro, even though it was stupid. There was a Human Torch match between him and Vampiro where the whole thing was to set your opponent on fire.
I like that. I think Mark Briscoe and the House of Black should do that.
They should do a House of Torch. But it goes back to episode 1 when I explained how Hayabusa is one of my favorite wrestlers because he looks like a superhero. Sting is also up there because he looks like a fucking superhero.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was too. Yeah. Like, for a lot of kids, like, growing up with him, he really was, like, that superhero. You know what I mean?
Lyssie, would you be against if I got the Surfer Sting haircut?
Yes.
Would you? The flat top or whatever?
Absolutely. It was terrible, and it's so out of times right now. No offense, Sting, but I was not really a fan of that. But you do you. I mean, I like more of a spooky, gothy type look to begin with, so that's really, my own personal preference here. But, favorite Sting match?
Oh, that's easy. It's him and Flair from Clash of the Champions.
Yeah?
Beautiful match. Great match. Honestly, if I had to tell people to check out a Sting match, obviously the Ric Flair match. I would tell them to check out last night's match.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd tell them honestly, be like, yo, you want to watch Sting? Go watch his whole AEW run. I really enjoyed Sting, CM Punk, and Darby versus MJF and FTR, too. That was a really good match. I'm trying to think of other ones that are on. Sting versus Bret Hart is another good one from WCW. That was a really good one, too. Even though the finish got fucked up, Sting versus Hogan from Starrcade, because it was just a very important time in wrestling for that match to happen. I love Sting. Sting and TNA. I'm trying to think who it was. Oh, Sting. Oh, it was Sting versus Kurt Angle in an empty arena match. I used to fuck with that match as a kid because it was different, because it was in an empty arena, and I thought it was cool. And it was a whole main event mafia, like Civil War type thing.
I do also just want to say and, throw out there, too, just as kind of a side note of, what a fucking incredible, and I say start to because he's still just so young, but, what a fucking crazy, incredible start to Darby Allin's career.
Darby just finds ways to hang out with legends.
I don't know how the hell he did that. Don't get me wrong, that's no discredit to him. I love him.
Darby being paired with Sting, probably the most logical thing Tony Khan has ever booked, to be honest with you.
It's going to be really weird seeing Darby without him.
I'm ignoring all the Undertaker Sting discourse on fucking Twitter. I don't know if you're seeing any of that bullshit.
I do wish the match happened.
Yes. Yeah. I was about to say, I wish that match happened, because my fucking God.
Yeah, I've been seeing, the back and forth of, the... Can I have a sip of that, please? Of, the whom's better and whatnot. I don't really care. I just wanted the match to happen.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that argument of who's better, because both are good in their equal rights.
Yeah.
And everything, and both have had bad booking happening to them. But this is about Sting, and I've always loved Sting. I don't know what more I need to say. What's your favorite incarnation of Sting?
Crow Sting.
You like Crow Sting?
Hands down Crow Sting.
Original Crow Sting? WCW Crow Sting?
I going back and, seeing stuff now, or not even now, but, because obviously of the time of WCW, I was very, very, very young, so there's no way I would have really been watching it as it was happening if I was even alive. But, yeah, seeing it as I'm older and whatnot, definitely original Crow Sting. And also, I think they handled his AEW run really fucking well. And,
yeah.
He was in a tag team, and he wrestled, quarterly. Once every 4 months.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
He just did his thing. Sting was an attraction.
Yeah, he was just able to kind of do his thing, have fun, and he was able to help elevate Darby and elevate every single person he was ever in the ring with.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a really fucking good and beautiful way to really have him go out. I'm glad we got to see him before he retired.
And
I don't think there's no way I've seen him. Wait, did my brother might have actually told me that I'm incorrect, and we did see Sting in TNA.
I never got to see. Well, I never seen Sting live, wrestle live, but we seen him live in AEW before for an appearance.
We saw him live at Full Gear.
Oh yeah, we saw him live at Full Gear. It was him versus Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah,
I was hyped about that.
We were in a different section than our friend Steven. And Sting went through the crowd.
Oh yeah,
we met up with Steven later on because we drove back home, and he was like, "Dude, Sting walked up behind me. He was in the row right behind me," and I was like, "Fuck you!" Because we're in the nosebleeds.
That's the only time I ever got to see Sting wrestle.
Yeah, we got to see Sting wrestle, and I think I remember I was telling my brother about it, and I was like, "Yeah, I finally got to see Sting," and I think I could be incorrect, but I think he was like, "We saw him in TNA before." because me and my brother, my family used to go down to Florida every year because my Aunt Lisa lived down there. She lived in Tampa, but we would eventually, like at once, like during the vacations, we would go up to Universal and we would watch TNA at the Universal Studios there. And my brother was like, yeah, no, we saw him there. I'm pretty sure he said that. I could be incorrect. But I don't remember it, even though I should be able to remember it, but I don't remember it. So in my brain, it never happened. But
I also liked, understandable of, Sting's whole AEW run was just tag matches because, I mean, man's old.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he was forced to retire at one point because of a neck injury.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, yeah, this is gonna sound weird, but if you do wrestle, you'll understand where I'm coming from. I understand why, half of his matches were tornado, no disqualification matches, because you can hide your limitations by hitting someone with a chair.
Yeah. No, 100%. And, I mean, he was still doing the crazy shit.
Oh, yeah, he was doing
but
crazy
also,
shit regardless.
That's kind of another thing that, you could jump from not a rafter, but you could, jump from, an elevated area, go through a table, have your opponent catch your fall, and then lay there for, 5 minutes and just kind of chill.
I think everyone would have rather now seen Sting... This is gonna sound so fucked up, but, see Sting jump from the rafters than work a wrist lock.
Yeah.
Because, limitations.
Yeah. And, I mean, again, that's no disrespect. That's just kind of unfortunately what it is.
It happens.
Yeah. And, I mean, his final run, it was great. It was fun. He did whatever he needed to do, and that was really it.
Sting got to be young again one more time and just go fucking ballistic.
Yeah. And, I don't know. I mean, it's a sad... It's a bittersweet moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I'm sad that it's over, but I'm happy that it happened, and it happened for as long as it fucking did.
That's the best way to put it, is don't be sad because it's over, be happy because it happened. And I said that to myself today when Jason Kelsey announced his retirement.
No, see,
I was like, fuck, man.
I agree, but I disagree with that statement. I feel like you should be allowed to be sad that it's over. You know, You should be bummed. If it's something you really cared about, really meant a lot to you, you absolutely have every single right to be sad that it's over. But don't forget to be happy that it happened.
As a former wrestler and, seeing what could happen to you mentally or physically, I'm happy that he got to go out the way he wanted to.
Exactly.
And I'm happy that he got to do it on his own terms and he wasn't forced to.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I have a life-threatening injury. I'm one bump away from being paralyzed or stuff like that. I need to hang it up. I can't have that one more match.
Dude, he
got to have that one more match.
I fucking responded to a comment on TikTok the other day of someone saying that they hoped that happened to Sting.
Man, fuck you.
Because he chose the Young Bucks as his final opponents.
Fuck you. You should read their you should read their TikTok names. So
I don't even know. It might have just been a fucking burn. I mean, I responded to it.
Fucking piece
and people
of shit.
Started fucking flaming him in the comments.
I was gonna say you should out him, that fucker.
But yeah, no, I clicked the comment and did a video response to it. And they literally said, and this is pretty much identical to what they said, just not exactly word for word because I don't have it in front of me right now. But they said, I've lost all respect for Sting for choosing the Young Bucks as his final opponents. I hope he gets paralyzed. And I'm like...
And your mother should have swallowed.
And I'm like, dude, if you...
Fucking bitch.
If you legitimately, can lose all respect over somebody because of their final opponent or an opponent that they're wrestling to begin with and hope, bodily harm upon this person, you were never a fucking fan to begin with. What the fuck is wrong with you? And... again,
I'm not a Young Bucks fan, but in my opinion... I don't think we really got to go into what I've truly thought about the Young Bucks being Sting's final opponent. And after watching the match, it made a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. Because they can just bump around like motherfuckers. And and that's all they were doing for the first 10 minutes of the match was just Sting, bro.
Yeah, the Young Bucks didn't really get a whole hell of a lot of offense in this match at all.
It was more so... Same with Dark. It was more so... let Darby and Sting's kids set up spots, let Sting hit his greatest hits, and then let Darby do a crazy bump so he can lay there for a couple of minutes, and then let Sting do his thing, take a crazy bump so he can breathe for a couple of minutes. Let Darby and the Bucks go at it for like a couple minutes, and then Sting comes back, hits his biggest comeback. Because the whole ending was pretty much the Bucks and Sting, right?
Yeah. So Darby was down from his attempted unaliving. And
his glass
spot.
Fuck, man.
He laid there, and then blood just started pooling up, and he didn't move, and then they just put duct tape on him, because fuck it, I guess. Because they're like, yeah, the medics are coming out to wrap up Darby, they have some gauze, and I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? How much gauze do you have in the back? Because this dude is just fucked right now. And then it was 2-on-1, so the Bucks were like, haha, Sting, we don't love you, we hate you. And then Ric Flair came in and was like, no, my son. And then they were
Ric
like...
Flair was like, I'll wrestle one more time.
And they're like, no, fuck you, Rick. And then they super kicked Rick, and then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was like, no. And then they're like, no, fuck you, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And then they kicked Ricky.
Man, they didn't have to do that to Ricky.
And then eventually, after this whole debacle... Darby ended up finally getting up with duct tape just barely hanging on to his body. And then, he did like a coffin drop and then Scorpion Death drop. And then
I was going to say, that
was it.
I was going to say, most of this match was just Sting hitting his greatest hits and the Bucks bumping.
Yeah, because Darby got up and he was going up for, I think, the coffin drop. And Nick was like, no. And then Darby was like, fuck you, Nicholas. And then he hit him and then he went through the table. And then he did, I think, the coffin drop, and then Scorpion Death drop, and then 1, 2, 3 retained.
No, it was by submission. He put him in Scorpion Death Lock.
Put him in Scorpion Death Lock. Yeah. That's what it was. Nonetheless.
But yeah, it was literally just have the Bucks bump around, let Sting hit his greatest hits, and let's do some crazy fucking spots with glass.
The thing is too, and this is gonna sound crazy with also just talking about glass being in the equation, but like the Young Bucks are really fucking safe. Like they're very fucking safe tag team to be in the ring with.
They're safe.
They're gonna make sure to take care of you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they fucking did. Even though Sting went through glass and Darby went through glass, like they still made sure Sting was fine. Sting was safe.
I gotta give credit where credit is due, because they were at the Greensboro Coliseum in a southern crowd, an old school wrestling crowd that doesn't like what the Young Bucks would do. The Young Bucks got that heat, though. They got the "fuck the Young Bucks" chant from them. They technically won Greensboro over.
Mm-hmm.
If you they weren't sitting on their hands.
No,
they weren't. The crowd was pretty electric all night.
Yeah, for the most part.
The crowd was pretty electric. I will give it that. Like the Greensboro crowd, for it being an old school crowd, an old school Southern crowd, an NWA crowd, they fucking went off.
They had them in the palm of their hands, and honestly, again, like the Young Bucks with their cocky fucking EVP gimmicks and whatnot against the fucking Icon and Darby, like they played into it really fucking well. They played into the fucking crowd, and they made sure that even with all the crazy fucking shit that was going on, that everyone was safe, everybody was okay, and they let him go out on top.
I'm just happy when Darby went through the glass, it broke the way it was supposed to break.
And also, I'm just gonna fucking, toss my own little biased 2 cents in here really quick. That not only, like, look, if the Young Bucks were legitimately selfish and egotistical pieces of fucking shit, they would not have lost.
No.
They wouldn't have lost. Like, the Young Bucks, as people want to sit here and fucking complain about them and whatever, like, now granted, they don't need to be putting Sting over.
I'm sure they got a few people when they were like, if people were like, oh, this is the main event, oh, of course, the Bucks are going to win the tag belts in the main event of a fucking pay-per-view, and I'm sure that they got a few people on that.
And, I mean, like, what the fuck was I saying? Like, they don't need to be putting Sting over. Like, I feel like that's just a really weird terminology to put when you're talking about Sting. But, like, the Young Bucks have very, very, very many times put over younger talent, and when they really didn't fucking need to, and this, that, and the other thing, and elevate other fucking talent. So, like, if they really were egotistical and felt like they needed to fucking win this match, they easily could have. And honestly, I feel like it was probably more so of a thing, and I don't know because I don't work there and I wasn't there. I feel like it was more so of a thing of them probably convincing Sting to fucking win the match, like, because I'm sure Sting was probably like, no, I'll go out on my back. It's fine.
I've heard stories. Sting is selfless. He's not selfish. He's always been selfless. Like, the only thing, like, I can't even say, like, Jeff Jarrett said it, where, like, the only time Sting's ever complained, and it wasn't even a complaint, and it was just like, go, like, at your job, just, hey, can I have a raise? Like, like that's the only, like, Sting's never Sting dealt with Vince Russo's booking and never left. Yeah. He never left. He stayed with WCW through the year 2000 and stayed there to the very end. He got set on fire. He had to wrestle a dog shit, I'm sorry, Vampiro and Sting, I'm sorry, a dog shit, fucking boneyard, buried alive, whatever the fuck match. Bad, god awful, horrible. He stayed. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. Sting's been selfless since day one.
I kind of, like, in my head, this is how I envision it happening, is like Darby and the Bucks and Sting are all, like, backstage, and they're talking over the match and whatnot, or they're planning this out, like, a couple weeks prior or whatever, and Sting's like, yeah, so, you know, me and Darby will lose, and you guys will take the belts, and then they're like, no, you should be winning, like, this is your, like, you should be, no, it's fine, and then they
didn't even want to win the tag belts. Yeah. He didn't even want to win tag belts.
And then it ends with the three of them, and then somehow Tony Khan showing up, and they're cornering Sting in the fucking corner, and they're just like, no, you have to win. That's how I envisioned it ended up being, Sting winning.
This is how it happened. They're all, that all happened, right? But Sting being like, no, I'm sorry. And then the Bucks, Tony, and Darby being like, wait, I know who can convince him. Woo, brother! Oh my God. And it's Ric Flair. Sting, don't do the job.
Like, I bet you $20. That's exactly what fucking happened.
Ric Flair being like, Sting, don't do the job.
But also, I mean, like, again, I just wanna touch on it and talk about, like, again, just kind of a side note of, like, I'm just really happy and proud of the Bucks because their whole mission statement in AEW was that tag team wrestling should be a main event.
And I ain't complaining on that because, I mean, two of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, and hell, even Dennis Condrey, and hell, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express. I love tag team wrestling. I think tag team wrestling should main event pay-per-views more often. I was hyped last year when the Usos and Sammy and KO got the main event WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, I love when a tag team match, especially for tag team titles, get the main event, a pay-per-view. I understand that the world title should main event. I get it. It's the world championship. It's the company's championship. But fuck, man. Every once in a while, it gets boring. Mm-hmm. It gets boring of like, oh, here comes the pay-per-view. We know what the main event's going to be. Change it up every once in a while. This was a good change up of let's put the tag team titles as the main event. And that was the whole Bucks mission statement.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of them that they finally got to do that. And they got to do it with a fucking legend. And they made fucking history doing it. And, like, all in all, like, there was nothing wrong or bad or whatever about the fucking match. Like, at all.
Darby is Sting's best tag team partner because every tag team partner Sting has ever had has turned on Sting, but Darby never did. Mm-hmm. And that actually makes me happy.
I feel so happy for Darby. And I also feel so sad for Darby. Because not that Darby, like, doesn't have the star power to do it on his own, but, like, fuck, what does he do? What does he do now?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Sting's done. Like, yeah. But not gonna lie, I would love to see Darby versus Sting. Oh, man.
So...
That would've been cool, but Sting's done.
Yeah. I have heard that Sting is possibly going to be taking a role backstage.
I can see that.
Like, I feel like I've been hearing that kind of go around a little bit. That obviously he's done wrestling.
I feel like the character, it's kind of like The Undertaker. I hate the, like, compare, because of the whole Twitter discourse, but, like, Undertaker was The Undertaker his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
Sting was Sting his whole career. When Undertaker retired, he started becoming Mark Calloway. He started acting out in public. Sting, I think, is going to be the same thing. He's going to be Steve Borden.
Nah, he's still going to be Sting.
Like, I like, does he make appearances at, like, Comic-Cons or whatever? Maybe.
Oh, I can 100% seeing him do that.
But, like,
down.
I don't, it's just hard to, like, does he stop by on a Dynamite? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
From what I heard and what I've seen, he's going to be taking, or might be planning to take, like, a backstage role where I could see him, like, helping with, like, booking or creative stuff or whatever. Unless he decides he just wants to be a cameraman and for some reason we start getting a camera angle from the rafters.
No, I think in my opinion, if Sting takes a backstage role, you know, it would be, like, a really good fit for him. If he helps with, like, the people that have, like, really creative gimmicks, like the House of Black, Darby, people like that, because, man, look what Sting fucking did all these years, god damn it. Like, right up, like, bro, not gonna lie, if that was Sting's position and I was in AEW, I'd fucking gravitate towards him.
Dude, I think that he, along with, like, Tony Schiavone and whatnot, would be somebody that would be so well utilized in a creative role for booking. Like, hands fucking down, because they have seen the best and the worst. They know what works and doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like with...
Same with Jeff Jarrett.
Kind of the odd way that AEW is going right now, because I don't want to sit here and say AEW's in the fucking mud. Because I don't think it's in the fucking mud. I don't think it's unwatchable garbage.
I said it to you. Revolution as a pay-per-view, as a whole, 2024 Revolution, it wasn't their best, but it wasn't their worst. It wasn't All Out 2022. But it wasn't World's End or Full Gear 2023.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. There was some things, if you go back and listen to this episode, there's things that I did not like. There's things that I did not watch because I just didn't like it. But here we are. I think we have been talking about fucking Sting for, like, the past, like, 40 fucking minutes now.
Which is good.
Also, like, AEW is in a weird funk right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like in a weird vibe right now.
They're in a weird, I guess the best way to put it, because, like, everyone's been putting it that way. I think they're finally getting out of the, like...
slump
that Brawl Out left them in. Mm-hmm. Because they've been in that slump for a while. I think they're finally digging their way out of that. I think they have their head above water, but they're still kind of, like, slowly sinking, but kind of, like, trying. You know what I mean?
And that's what I feel like with Brawl Out happening, that there was a lot of issues that stemmed from it that, like, people don't want to, like, I don't want to say not talk about, but, like, don't ever really give the time of day to really fucking think about. It's just, like, so...
Well, they can't talk about it.
Well, no, I mean, like, fans. I'm not talking about the company.
Well, the fans are just going to talk about one thing, and that is either CM Punk was right or the Elite was right.
Which I don't give a shit about that sentiment. Like, what I give a shit about is, I think what happened is, like, Brawl Out happened, and Tony Khan probably freaked the fuck out and didn't know what to do with this given situation, and then we started falling into this slump. And then when, you know, it was time for the repercussions to set in, and the Young Bucks and Kenny were no longer a part of, like, creative and whatnot, from, at least from what I understand was, you know, they were a big part in helping it, is when we started falling into the slump. And that's not me trying to say that they were the end-all be-all and to give them their goddamn fucking jobs back and this, that, and the other thing. But I think that's when we really started slumping. Because now they're not a part of it, and Tony's trying to figure out what the fuck to do to make everybody happy, but also has no fucking idea what to do. And that's where I think it comes in, where we have so many fucking veterans in AEW, and we have so many people that know the business that Tony should be listening to. Like, get somebody else on board that, might be a little bit of a better fit than what the Young Bucks and Kenny were, if that's the way that you really want to look at it. I think they were a fine fit, but I understand that
Tony needs a booking committee.
Yeah, I understand that with the given situation, there had to be consequences for your actions and whatnot, so I'm not going to sit here and argue that. But what I am going to say is that ever since that happened and they were no longer in those roles, AEW has struggled from it, and people don't want to give that thought the time of day. Because people don't like Kenny, they don't like the Bucks, and they don't want to think that they really could have had that much of an important impact on the fucking product, when I firmly believe that they fucking did.
Tony Khan needs someone that no one will fuck with. They had Regal, but,
Well, he wanted to go be with his son, so that's different.
Yeah. Shout out to Charlie Dempsey. He won the Classic Cup or whatever in NXT.
Cool.
I don't know what it's actually called. It's a cup thing. But anyway, what was I saying? Tony Khan needs someone on his booking committee that isn't biased and will take no shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bryan Danielson, but you ain't it. You can book Collision. Go ahead. But I'm talking about, like, they need a legend. They need someone that's retired, Sting. Or Regal. Like, someone like a Regal to be like, this is what you're doing, and no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, he needs help, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying, like, I could definitely see Sting taking some sort of role creatively wise and helping out a lot with the fucking product. Because they need it. And they need someone, again, who's seen the best and the worst that it can possibly be, and know what's going to work, what's not going to work, and what type of direction to be taking it in of where they're at right now. But it has been getting better, and he has been getting his head out, like, AEW's been getting his head out of the fucking water. So we're just going to kind of have to see where it goes. I hope whatever Sting ends up doing, whether it is a backstage role or just going home to, be dad or whatever, that he does whatever he does.
Sting, I want you... Hit up Conrad Thompson. Shout out to Conrad Thompson. I will probably get so much heat from people on that, but I do not care. Shout out Conrad Thompson. Start a podcast, Sting, because I will gladly listen to a Sting podcast.
I would like to hear his, adventures.
I would, that's the thing. There's a Sandman podcast.
Jesus Christ.
You have to pay for it, which sucks, but, I'll just find it for free somewhere. But, there's a Sandman, but, there's an Undertaker podcast now. I would love to see a Sting podcast. It's such a cool fucking thing.
Him and Darby just do a podcast together.
No, that's why I'm saying, if anything, it would be Conrad Thompson being his host, because Conrad has Lex Luger. He did a Ric Flair podcast. He does the Jeff Jarrett podcast. Conrad he's the mortgage guy. I don't know if you ever seen him or anything. He's the big mortgage guy. He's big. Big Conrad. Big old Connie. Conrad Thompson.
Okay, I get the point.
At Hey Conrad on all social media. I'm giving him a plug.
I get the fucking
We're going to be sponsored by him.
I don't think I want to be.
No, you do.
I don't know if I do.
He's from Alabama.
I really don't want... No. I'm so against Alabama.
They were in Alabama for Dynamite this past week.
Yeah, man, it was a really weird situation. Anyway, any more final thoughts about Sting that you want to put out there?
No, honestly, Sting had a great career. I'm forever a Sting fan.
No, that's fair.
I love
agree.
Sting. I love everything about Sting, the whole character from Surfer Sting all the way to the Icon in AEW. Everything in between, I loved. That's just me. Every time he appeared on screen, I felt like a kid again.
Yeah.
It's Sting. What more can I say? You know what I mean?
It's just sad.
Seriously, what more can I possibly say about this guy?
I mean,
Because he's a fucking legend.
it's always coming for your favorites. That one day they're done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But like, I might have said it on the podcast before, but I'll definitely at least say it again. Like, I remember when Sting came out and he announced that he was retiring at Revolution a couple months ago. And you and I were sitting here watching it. We're like, well, shit. But why the fuck did he say it? So, like, why are we announcing it now? Like, why aren't we gonna announce it like closer to the date or whatever? And honestly, now looking back on it, I'm glad that they did.
He wanted to prepare all the little stingers.
Yeah, like I'm really glad that they did that. And didn't just say like, oh, here you go. Sting's retiring in 2 weeks. Bye.
Sting. That was Sting telling all the little stingers, "We're gonna have this one last ride together."
I know, and it's sad, and I'm gonna cry again. But I'm glad that they did it that way, even though at first I was kind of like, I mean, sure, I guess. Like, I don't know why we're talking about it now, but I'm happy he got to do it the way he did it, and
it was a fun ride.
It was a fun ride.
I enjoyed every minute of every time I've seen Sting.
And I feel like now it's happened in the blink of an eye, and now it's over.
Yeah, now I'm sitting here and I realize that I am 23 years old, and wow, the first time I saw Sting I was like 6.
Yeah.
And here I am. I'm
talking about his retirement.
I'm a grown adult doing a podcast in my apartment, paying rent, and I have a full-time job, and here I am talking about Sting. And the first time I saw him, I was 6 years old. All I knew was his name was Sting. He had a scorpion on him, and he painted his face. I didn't know the whole motive of it. Like, it took me a couple years to know the whole motive. Like, I didn't know. Here we are.
That's so sad.
And that's Showtime, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but happy for him, and again, with whatever he does in the future, rooting for him nonetheless. But I think for the most part, that wraps this up.
Yes, that wraps this up. Go listen to our previous episodes. You can hear us bitch and laugh and cry and everything in between on every episode.
It should be linked in the description box below. If it didn't, I'm sorry, I'm stupid.
Yeah, Lyssie takes control of that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or hit up the Instagram, which, Lyssie, what's the Instagram?
Our Instagram, if you want to follow us on that, is Talkin Wrasslin Pod. That's at TALKIN_WRASSLIN_POD.
Yeah, if you have any questions or you think we can do something to better the episodes, don't talk about mic work because, we're still broke. But
we'll be broke forever.
But anyway, if you guys want to hear an episode, like a topic or something, let us know. We'll cover it or whatever. We'll watch it if you send us something. I don't care. Anyway, Lyssie, where can they find you on social media?
Well, if you want to also follow me on Instagram or Twitter, my handle is Lungtar. That's LUNG_TAR. My Instagram, I post some of my artwork and some pictures of my face. And my Twitter, I talk a lot about the Young Bucks and a bunch of other random bullshit. Probably have a meltdown at least once or twice a week on there, but, that's neither here nor there. That's fine. If you like hearing me talk and you want to see my face while watching me talk, then bless your soul. You could follow me over on TikTok, which is LungBucks. That's LUNG_BUCKS. It is a play on the Young Bucks, of course. Currently I'm over there talking about some cosplay stuff and, dealing with people being mad at me in comments, but that's, again, neither here nor there. Dylan, if they want to follow you on social media, where the fuck can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Danny, DANI _line, Valo, VALO _line. You can try to find me on Twitter. I'm not going to give that away. Good luck. It's a cesspool. I've been pretty quiet on Twitter as of late. I've just been kind of just retweeting random ass shit of Hayabusa, Bull Nakano, and Sting stuff as of late.
Yeah.
A lot of Sting stuff, and I think the only thing I bitched about recently, I just said fuck Bleacher Report because of them cutting off the end of the pay-per-view or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that was like the only thing I started bitching about. I've been quiet on Twitter as of late. I kind of just see people bitching and I just laugh anymore about it. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. You guys can tune in next week when Lissy is the host. She'll probably pick, God, I don't even fucking know, for Wrestler of the Week.
We'll think about
something.
We'll see.
And we'll see what news or what wrestling we watch. And to end it on a nice note, thank you, Sting.
Thank you, Sting.